Debbie, we're so happy to have you here today. Thank you so much for your time and your support for this project.
It is such an honor to be here. We share so much in the mission of the American Red Cross and the mission of CFJ.
So let's start, a little bit big picture. Talk to us a little bit about the role and mission of the American Red Cross and the many things you do to help our residents.
The mission of the American Red Cross is to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies through the generosity of donors and the big hearts of volunteers. Red Cross has thousands of trained volunteers across our community from all corners of our community who help us achieve that.
So when it comes to the natural hazards that affect us here in South Florida, talk to us about your efforts when it comes to hurricanes, flooding, preparedness, and safety.
Well, the best way to overcome a disaster is to be ready for it. The Red Cross spends a lot of time out in the community talking to other organizations, talking to neighborhood community leaders about how to be ready for a hurricane.
And we've had some hot summers in the last few years, so excessive heat is now certainly one of our natural hazards. Let's talk about the heat.
Well, the Red Cross recently added excessive heat as one of our extreme hazards that we are preparing for. We have lots of materials that help people understand what excessive heat does to your body, how to recognize the signs, and how to get help.
So we all know South Florida is a melting pot, right, of different cultures and languages. And so how do you address all of that?
Our own team is indicative of the melting pot of South Florida. Our staff speaks 6 different languages in the office, and we endeavor every single day to make sure that our volunteers also mirror Miami-Dade. In a disaster situation, if we can't communicate with somebody, we can't help them as effectively as we could if we spoke that language. And we do everything we can to make sure that when we deploy in, say, Little Haiti or Little Havana or down south where some of the agricultural workers speak their native language, we make sure that our volunteers come from those communities.
So we've been involved with a big project here for the last several years. So specifically now, we want to talk about how you've been working possibly with the various communities that have participated in our Mellon-funded Commons for Justice project. Any examples of how you've worked together closely with them?
First thing that comes to mind is the Red Cross installs free smoke alarms. We look at the data of where we respond to home fires, and that is where we prioritize. And we were in Allapattah last year. We were in West Grove 2 years ago. We have been in Overtown and Liberty City multiple times. And we were just in Homestead last fall, actually, installing free smoke alarms. And in fact, when there is a home fire, the fire department will conduct an investigation. And when they see a Red Cross installed smoke alarm, they let us know. And we're really happy to say that in Allapattah and West Grove in the last 4 years, we have saved multiple lives through the smoke alarm installation effort. We also endeavor to partner with nonprofits like FIU and particularly houses of worship where people tend to come in a disaster already. So the Red Cross is partnering with the leaders of those organizations to make sure that we can share information, we can share resources. If we need to get into one of those communities in an emergency, that we have a partner who can make sure that the doors are open for us.
So, and then thinking about the natural hazards again, the heat problem besides hurricanes and flooding, what comes to mind now when you think about some of these various communities and being able to be resilient through events like that?
We all know well that lower income communities are disproportionately impacted by natural disasters. And we endeavor to make sure we are in those communities before the natural disasters happen so that we can be building resilience. We try to connect the dots for those families to make sure that they have connections to other agencies who can help them in addition to the American Red Cross.
And they may have additional challenges after an event.
Absolutely.
Heaven forbid we have a hurricane landfall. How will the Red Cross be there for them?
After a big natural disaster, we will pre-position people and supplies in those communities as close as is safe so that as soon as the storm is passed, we can safely get our volunteers and staff into those communities to assess the damage, get food and water, get trained mental health volunteers out into those communities to help people process what they're dealing with. Most importantly, to make sure that they have safe shelter, food and water. If they need medicines replaced, we have volunteer nurses who can help with that as well.
You know, another hurricane season's right around the corner. What kind of concerns do you have for these communities, let's say, for example, or what kind of tugs at your heart when looking at, moving into another season and what we may see?
Large natural disasters, particularly hurricanes, are getting faster. They're getting stronger. They're getting, thankfully, a little more predictable. We are training, we are preparing, we are recruiting volunteers. We are making sure that come June 1st, that no matter where a hurricane hits, the Red Cross can be there. The county mails a really fabulous guide every mid-May that contains, in 3 different languages, everything you need to know about getting ready for hurricane season.
So we've talked now a lot about how you reach out and help these communities. So let's turn it around. How could these communities best work with you?
We are constantly recruiting volunteers. Volunteering for the Red Cross is an incredibly rewarding experience. We provide all the training you need. It can be as little as an hour a week here and there as you see fit, or we have volunteers who are there every single day in our office or alongside us responding to disasters.
We've had events in the past. Have you had some lessons learned?
One of the learnings after Hurricane Ian was that we needed a national leadership team that can be dropped into any community after an extreme natural disaster and set up our it's a mini city the Red Cross comes in and sets up when there's a large natural disaster. We started with 1 national incident command team. We now have 5. And we know that those team members are on call. They're the highest level of certification and training in disaster response. And they can drop into any community and rally the local teams, get them out where they need to be, make sure that we have safe shelter, food and water, medical help, community partners, correct languages, correct representatives in every community to make sure that we are delivering mission, that we are helping the communities recover from that natural disaster. That has been one big learning. We are also upping the amount of training that we're giving to our local disasters, because it can take some time for our national teams to get set up in an incident that we don't have notice of. A hurricane, fortunately, as devastating as it is, we generally know about where it's going. Tornadoes and flooding, we don't always know.
What are some of the best resources for information for all of us with the Red Cross?
Our website, redcross.org, is so full and deep with information about every kind of natural disaster that you could think of. How to prepare for it, how to respond to it, how to recover.
Why do you do all this?
I love to give back. Our team loves to give back. We are all humanitarians at heart. And the Red Cross understands that it's not a matter of if there's a disaster, it's when there'll be a disaster. And we stand ready, we stand trained, we stand available to help any community in need.
Well, we certainly thank you for your time today and for all you do to serve the community. Thank you very much.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me.